Welcome to Elevate English. Elevate your English. Elevate your life. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the Elevate English channel. Let's start our story. The Gardener's Promise. In the sleepy village of Lindenbrook, there was a garden that bloomed with an unusual beauty. It wasn't the largest or most meticulously maintained, but it was alive with colour and charm, a tapestry of flowers and herbs that seemed to hum with life. It belonged to Eleanor Mayfield, a quiet woman in her late 20s who had inherited the garden, and the cottage it surrounded, from her late aunt. Eleanor had spent the past 3 years tending to the garden, pouring her heart into every bed of roses, every patch of lavender, and every climbing vine of morning glories. The garden became her sanctuary after a difficult breakup and the loss of her parents in a car accident. Its earthy scent, the rustle of leaves in the wind, and the hum of bees were her companions, helping her find solace in her solitude. One crisp spring morning, as Eleanor pruned the hydrangeas along the garden's stone path, a cheerful voice startled her. "Excuse me, miss? This place is magnificent." Eleanor turned to see a man leaning over the garden gate. He had sandy-blonde hair, a kind smile, and an artist's satchel slung over his shoulder. "Thank you," Eleanor replied, brushing soil from her hands. "It's a work in progress." "Progress looks pretty perfect to me," he said, stepping closer. "I'm Henry Crawford, an artist. I just moved to the village, and this garden caught my eye. Would you mind if I painted it?" Eleanor hesitated. She wasn't used to strangers in her private sanctuary, but there was a sincerity in Henry's gaze that put her at ease. "I suppose that would be all right," she said. Over the following weeks, Henry became a regular presence in the garden. He'd set up his easel under the shade of an old oak tree and lose himself in his work, occasionally glancing up to capture the light on a flower or the curve of a vine. Eleanor found herself drawn to his easy manner and the way he seemed to see beauty in the smallest details. "Do you ever paint people?" Eleanor asked one afternoon as she watered the dahlias. "Sometimes," Henry replied, tilting his head thoughtfully. "But I prefer painting things that feel alive in other ways, like this garden. It tells a story." Eleanor paused, her watering can poised mid-air. "What kind of story?" Henry shrugged, his eyes twinkling. "A story of care and resilience. Of someone who loves deeply enough to make something bloom, even when it's hard." Eleanor felt a warmth rise in her cheeks. "You're giving it too much credit. It's just a garden." "It's not just anything," Henry said firmly. As the weeks turned into months, their conversations deepened. Henry shared stories of his travels, of painting landscapes in far-off places and meeting people whose faces he carried in his sketchbooks. Eleanor told him about her aunt, the woman who had taught her how to nurture plants and find peace in their quiet growth. One summer evening, as fireflies danced above the garden, Henry asked, "Do you ever think about leaving this place? Traveling, seeing new things?" Eleanor shook her head. "This is my home. I wouldn't know who I am without it." "But what if you could bring a piece of it with you?" he asked, his voice soft. "What if you could share its beauty with the world?" The question lingered in Eleanor's mind, even after Henry had left for the night. One morning, Henry arrived at the garden with a canvas covered in cloth. He placed it on an easel and looked at Eleanor. "I want to show you something." Eleanor's breath caught as he unveiled the painting. It was a vibrant depiction of her garden, bursting with colour and life, but at its centre stood a figure she recognized immediately, herself, kneeling among the roses, her face serene and filled with quiet strength. "I've never seen myself like this," she whispered. "It's how I see you," E. Henry said. Tears welled in Eleanor's eyes as she looked at him. For the first time in years, she felt truly seen, not just for her garden, but for the person she had become within it. Their connection deepened after that day. Henry continued to paint, capturing the changing seasons in the garden, while Eleanor began to see her sanctuary in a new light, not just as a place of healing but as a space to share with others. When autumn arrived, Henry asked Eleanor to join him on a trip to a nearby town, where he was hosting an exhibition. She hesitated at first, reluctant to leave her garden, but Henry's encouragement gave her courage. The exhibition was a success, and Eleanor's garden paintings stole the show. People marveled at the vibrant colors and the love that radiated from each brushstroke. "Your garden is more than a place," Henry told her as they walked back to the train station that night. "It's a reflection of you. And the world needs more of that." Eleanor smiled, the weight of her past sorrows lifting just a little. "Maybe you're right," she said. Over time, Eleanor and Henry began hosting small gatherings in the garden, inviting neighbors, artists, and friends to share in its beauty. The garden became a place of connection and creativity, a testament to the love and care they poured into it, and into each other. Years later, as they stood together under the blooming wisteria arch, Eleanor realized that her garden had given her more than peace. It had brought her Henry, and with him, a life that was as vibrant and full of promise as the flowers that surrounded them.